Why would you want to increase your growth index for a stress response? Because you can. The video that brought you in here, if you've watched it, that is, you might be, I might just have this on some random page, I don't know. We talked about three scientists that completely changed the game for me when it comes to thinking about what stress means and performance hormones. Kelly McGonigal, PhD. I've read all the books, but back in 2016, one really spiked my interest. She was talking about the relationship, the ratio of performance hormones to stress hormones, and how if you've got higher performance hormones than stress hormones, and the one in particular she was talking about was dihydroepiandrosterone, DHEA, it predicts academic and physical success. But you've got to have it locked in there constantly. Because when you do, the body does something amazing. DHEA, dihydroepiandrosterone, it's got a bank, a reservoir. So you're constantly depositing it into this bank for a rainy day. So for some unknown reason, if you're not producing performance hormones, you've got that bank, because DHEA is well known for its positive effects: warm-heartedness, caring, and vigor, which is strength and vitality. So when your feet hit the floor in the morning, when you lock in a high growth index, you feel amazing. You've got the confidence to take the day on. Now, if you watch the other video that led you in here, you'd know that Professor Sapolsky, when stress hormones are high and healthy, it engages stress-based thoughts. Our perception of a situation can raise cortisol, the main stress hormone, twofold. And this, you guys that go straight down, your growth index lowers straight away, because it clamps your ability to produce performance hormones. And if this happens throughout the whole day, there's not a hope in hell that you can produce performance hormones and lock in a high geyser. At the end of the day, you're stressed out. This engages something that scientists call alarm and avoidance. The alarm part, negative thoughts. The avoidance part, stress-based behaviors. We want to go home. We're done. We're sick and tired of the day. We think it's a character flaw, or we're tired. No, this shouldn't happen. As my coach said to me, if you're having, he said, Mark, if you're having any more than a few off days a month, you're doing something wrong. So when you lock in this high growth index, your whole world changes. So the only way I can explain how that feels is big, enthusiastic energy for the day. And what's a great lexicon for that? What's a great name for that? Well, I looked it up, and it's called zest. Big, enthusiastic energy for the day. And there's only three things we need to do to ensure that that happens. So you just feel amazing. And because I got this right at 46, I had to work with a coach and a functional doctor to get this right. But I was able to, in 2019, write a book and get it published on Amazon. And I'm no one special. You can do things like this. We all have greatness inside us. We just have to lock in this growth index, because it produces performance hormones and keeps those stress hormones optimized. I used to think that you had to lower stress to feel good. Sure, you can lower stress if you want to feel apathy, you want to be bored frequently, and you don't want to have big energy for the day. But when you get this right, you lock in the high guys, you've got that energy, you've got the performance hormones where they need to be. And there's 8 sexy systems you need to optimize for. One of them is what I call the feel-good system. Opioids, endorphins, GABA. And when we have them locked in there, we feel good, we feel amazing. So the three things that we need, you've also got 3 roadblocks, well actually 4, and I'll talk about that when we get to the second part here. But the 3 basic things that you need to do to get this right. We need to master something. Clearly, stress. Now, the scientist that I talk about, if you watch that video, is that Sean Aker, he says that, when you get the growth index right, it puts you in a positive physiology, positive mindset. And when that is true, by default, we're 31% smarter. And he's shown this in studies. Holy crap. But you can add to this. Professor Waltman from MIT has shown us that our brain has evolved to increase in size and IQ as we age. When we have one thing, this is called trophic support. And when I get to block 7 down here, I'll show you what that is. And it's very simple. Basically, he says that we've got the first outreach of intelligence is what's called synaptogenesis. And you need 3 basic building blocks in place for that to happen. The first one is uridine, a DNA base. The second one is DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, an omega-3 fatty acid. And I was reading another book, and in that book, they were saying that an NIH researcher said that if you don't have enough DHA in your brain, you can't be a fighter pilot. You're just too damn slow. So it's extremely important. But, you can get this right. Now, the third thing that Professor Waltman from MIT said that we need for synaptogenesis, the first outreach of intelligence, the third thing is acetylcholine. Now, what's interesting is that I've had my genome sequenced, and the precursor to choline, to acetylcholine, is choline. Now, my body converts choline into acetylcholine very slowly. So I need more acetylcholine for that. So that ensures that I'm going to kick ass. I'm going to learn fast, and memory recall, memory consolidation is going to be there. The first outreach of intelligence is going to be there. So think about the unfair advantage all this information gives you. For myself, back in 2019, I was able to write a book and get it published on Amazon. So let's keep going here. So clearly, the third thing we need to be able to do is to work smart if we want to kick ass in life. And we can do that. I'll put an R there. Now, the third thing that we need to master is the old emotion. We need to do this in 2 ways. Not only do you need to master your own emotion, we need to master other people's emotion. I'll talk about that. I'll circle back to that in a second, but we need to master our own emotion clearly because, as Professor Sapolsky says, our perception of a situation can raise cortisol 2-fold. And when that happens, our growth index goes down and our day just turns to shit. That engages negative thoughts, and we engage, at the end of the day, negative behaviors. Like we might reach for that beer, that junk food, which is adding more stress hormones into the equation. And at the end of the day, we have that beer, that junk food, we're laying in bed a couple of hours later, and we think to ourselves that we're losers. But no, look what's happening here. Your stress hormones are high, engaging in negative thoughts, engaging in negative behavior. This is what's happening. It's not you. It's not a character flaw. You just have to increase your growth index. You see, most people don't do that. So they gravitate towards stress-based behaviors. Now, if your performance hormones are high, you gravitate in the opposite direction to performance-based behaviors, like writing that book that I did in 2019. I'm no one special. You can do this. It doesn't matter what age you are. I was 46 when I got this right. And you don't need elite genetics. Mine are shit. I've had my genome sequenced. You can increase your growth index and you can take the day on. So when you do that, and the 3 roadblocks, well, there's 4, but the 3 main roadblocks will get you most of the way there. So we need to be able to increase our GISR. And the 3 roadblocks, there's 2 main categories there. Well, there's 3, but I'll talk about that. Like the first one are the clamps. We need to take the clamps off. And the second one are the thieves. Now, the thieves are everywhere. I'll give you an example. Estrogen mimics, microplastics. Microplastics are everywhere. They're in our personal care products. they're in our food supply, they're everywhere. And when these enter the system, you know, through the food supply or, you know, with the personal care products that we're using, and there's an app that you can get to test for this. This is really easy stuff. It raises a hormone called sex hormone binding globulin. And when that goes up, it attaches to free testosterone and inactivates it. We're going to feel like shit. Our performance hormones are getting stolen by these damn thieves. You're going to settle for that? Or would you like to know this information? And the next thing we need to do is have the system working 24/7. So we've got that, guys, are locked in. So over the course of a month, we might have a couple of off days. That's it. Instead of, you know, several off days a week. So when you get that right, what it really does for you, just get another pen here, is that it unlocks you. It unlocks the body. So you can easily maintain a lean physique all year round, and it unlocks the mind. So you've got 9 things that you can work on. Do you need them all? No, you don't need them all. It just depends on what you really want out of life. But you've got number 1 here, the GISR. Number 2, we have to know these roadblocks. And number 3 over here, we have to know how to keep the system going 24/7 uninterrupted. Because if you lack something in the body can't detox. When the body can't detox, you lose your energy and your mood goes to shit. Then we engage in stress-based thoughts and stress-based behaviors. So we have to keep the system going 24/7. And then you can be, number 4 over here, lean all year round because you've got performance hormones where they need to be, and that's what keeps you lean. And the stress hormones optimized, so you've got energy for the day. And a bit bigger, a bit too big. Number 5 over here, I didn't realize this, but every single day, your body's making between 40 and 60 billion new cells, and they require building materials. Just like I talked about with Professor Waltman and those 3 for the first outreach of intelligent synaptogenesis. So if you put superior building materials into the system, everything works faster. Protein synthesis is faster. And we're not talking primarily just about muscle here. Protein synthesis for neurotransmitters. So neurotransmitters are created faster, faster memory recall, faster memory consolidation, and your detox system, your antioxidant system works faster. Everything works faster. And this is really easy to do. And then number 6 over here, I should write them down, shouldn't I? Oh, so lean as, and so we upgrade the building materials, and genes. Now, I heard Dr. Rhonda Patrick, PhD, talking about, you know, you see some people who just seem to kick ass in life. They just kick ass. Now, what they've got are what are called SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms on their detox genes. So they work much faster. There's basically 3 categories. You've got slow SNPs that work very slow, and I've got lots of them. I've got crap genetics. Then you've got normal ones, and you've got fast ones, and some lucky people have double copies. So think about if somebody's got double copies and a fast genes that detox. You know, wow, they're at a genetic advantage because they're not going to have energy dips. They can have a bit of a crap diet and it won't be a problem. So they have a genetic advantage. You mightn't have this. So when I get to talking about genes, I'll go into detail about that. Now, we also need the brain to grow, increase in size and IQ. As I mentioned previously, scientists like Professor Waltman from MIT says that's possible, and we only need one thing for that to happen, which is trophic support. Trophic support. And to truly master emotions, we only need to do 2 things. Now, Chris Voss, former lead negotiator from the FBI, he says that every single day we're negotiating, whether it's with our partner, our kids, professionally, our friends, or whatever, and that can create a stress response. You see where I'm going with this? Now, I learned from Chris Voss 3 easy techniques where you become a master negotiator. So instead of getting in a stress response and lowering your geyser, it's like, yeah, I know how to do this because you've mastered the art of negotiation. So your growth index stays high. You're producing DHEA, the master steroid that you want. That's the growth index master steroid. So we have to master that, which is the 7th thing that we do. Just get this thing here. Sorry, the 8th thing that we do. And number 9 over here is what scientists call the winner's effect. So scientists have shown that, as I mentioned previously, that Professor Sapolsky said that our perception of a situation can raise stress hormones twofold, but you can move that, and you see, that's what most people do. They move it in that direction and it lowers their growth index. But with the winner's effect, you move in the opposite direction, increasing DHEA and increasing your growth index. Remember, at the beginning of this, I said that the body does something amazing when your growth index is high. DHEA, dihydroepiandrosterone, has a bank, a reservoir that you deposit into for a rainy day. So if for some crazy reason, like you've eaten something or you're somewhere where there's a lot of stress being produced in your body, you've got a backup. So you can still keep performing. So that's the 9 things that I work on with my clients. Now, to go into this into great detail, you'll need to watch another video, and it's free for now. It's free for now. So read the information below, because if this sounds like, this is the very foundation, the growth index up here. And when we know how to successfully negotiate our way through the day, keeping the growth index high, and when we know how to use what scientists call the winner's effect, we're going to continually master our emotions. And that's one of the biggest parts of it. And when we know what the roadblocks are, the clamps and the fees, and know how to keep the system going 24/7, yeah, that's when life gets really good. And as my coach said to me, Mark, you're not broken, you're not weak, your physiology is. You don't need elite genetics, and you're not too old. You can do this. You can get this right. So read the information below and take the next step. And I'll see you on the other side.